Alright, so in this video I will be showing the basics on how to draw a face and just some of the general proportions. So very first you start out with a circle, which hopefully shouldn't be too difficult. If you can draw a circle, you can do anything. Then after you have your lovely circle, you get a line halfway through that and you bring it down past the circle. You want to bring it down probably about a little bit less than the diameter of the circle. I've seen some people do just like super long faces, and it looks a little bit weird. After that, you create a bit of a jawline. You can have it just kind of curved and softer lines like this, or sometimes you can do it more angular if that is what the character calls for, but you know, it totally depends on who you're drawing and what they look like. So for this, we're just going to keep it kind of an oval egg shape. After that, you find about the midpoint of this vertical line, and from there you draw a horizontal line through the middle. Then, from your middle point to the chin, you try to divide it as best you can into thirds. And if this third is a little bit longer, that's fine, because I've heard some teachers say to draw in the middle and others to draw on the third line, so it's where the bottom of the nose goes, and that is something that varies greatly between faces. Some people have super long noses, some people have really short noses, so that is a highly variable one. But for generally, I don't know, about a third of the way down, half the way down, somewhere between there. Now, we'll get more into the features of the face. Here we put in the eye. And for this video, I'm just doing kind of like the general shapes and stuff, and I'm not going into detail over anything. In other videos, I will show how to draw eyes and noses and mouths and everything. But for this, it's just general, very general proportions. So the width of the eye is the same as the distance between the eyes. And then the width of the second eye should be the same width as the first eye if you're doing this just completely frontal view of the face. Go ahead and add some irises. The top of the iris is usually covered more than the bottom. The bottom usually just kind of touches the eyelid. Mine are very scrumptious right now, but that's okay. Here we can add in the eyebrows. Generally, you can just kind of put these where they look natural. Eyebrows are something that vary greatly between people as well. Generally speaking, if you know the anatomy of the skull at all, you know that the orbit is about right here, and the eyebrows usually rest kind of right about on that brow bone, that ridge. Now we have the nose. The nose's width is about the same width as the distance between the eyes, and sometimes it feels like that's really wide, but really, once you get used to it, it's fairly accurate most of the time. Always depends on the face, but there's the nose. After that, you draw a line down from the middle of the eye to where the mouth is. And that's generally the width of the mouth. Sometimes I find that's kind of a bit wide, sometimes it could be too small. So it's your call for the face you're drawing, how wide it is. And the bottom of the lip rests on the line. Here we'll define a little bit more of the jawline, get it the way we want. Lots of times when you draw these guidelines, they'll either be much too wide, too thin, too long. you kind of just fit it to the face you've drawn. Now the ears are about as tall as the eyebrow and as long as the nose. And on older people, they'll be longer because ears are one of those things that don't stop growing. And then the neck, even though you can't see it because the jaw will cover part of it, the neck actually extends from the ear and curves in and out to then where the shoulders are and stuff. Now we can go in and kind of put more for sure lines where we want them. Because on this first sketch, you know, you're not really worried about getting any of the lines clean or anything. You're just kind of getting the basic measurements, finding out where to put everything. And then here, this is still a very, very, very quick and rough sketch. Usually a face takes more than just 5 or 10 minutes to draw, if you're trying to make it look nice. But so it's still rather rough, but it's a little bit more cleaned up than the other one. No, I'm not going to add details yet. And here on the computer I've got it in different layers, so I can just go and erase the underlayer. But if you're drawing this on paper, then you probably want to like be erasing these guidelines as you go along, because they get kind of distracting and busy on the face. And if you'll notice, the lines that I'm using when I sketch and stuff, they're still very like angular and sharp. They're not really like the smooth organic lines that you'd actually see on a face. And that's, you know, you'd smooth it out and polish it up if you were to really like try to make this face look nice. Which, you know, not really. And if this is like your first time drawing a face, it'll look funny. Probably guaranteed, unless you're just really good. But it always looks weird the first time you do it, and then you just do it a couple 100 times and it starts to look a little bit better. But it just takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice. And like I said before in other videos, I go over how to draw everything else in more detail. Now, the edge of the face is usually about half the width of the eye is to where the edge of the face is. So again, that varies a lot too. Some people have very thick set faces, some people have very, very thin faces, so it's hard to say. And also the jawline is something that greatly changes, especially with the gender of whoever you're drawing. Usually girls have much softer lines in their jaw, and then guys have more angular jaws. This one I'm just trying to make kind of androgynous, so it's just sort of in between. Put in some ears. Some hair. Hair is a super difficult thing. Or at least it was for me. I guess it still is. But you want to draw your hair kind of up off the head, because hair tends to be rather poofy. But those are the basic guidelines and rules. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you'll check out some of my other videos. Thank you.